Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a little different and I wanted to talk about a topic that I think is super important and relevant in my life and a lot of people my age or just in general, and that is fitness and some of the lessons that I wish I knew before I started out on my fitness journey, for lack of a better terminology. If you didn't already know, I kind of got my following and my foot in the door over on my Instagram, where I started posting my fitness journey when I started doing BBG, and then moved on from BBG and started doing my own guide, created my own workout guide, and then started my blog. I was an athlete my whole life. I played in college, and then after I graduated college, I started working out for myself, and that's what brought me to this whole kind of phase of my life that I'm in now. So the goal of this video is to just kind of shed some light on some of the things that, as I've gone throughout this whole process, I find to be really important and sometimes forgotten when you're starting out and not really sure how to get started. So hopefully you guys will find some of these points helpful, and yeah, let's get started. So the very first point that I want to make, which I think is arguably the most important, is that life is too short to worry about what people in a free app on your phone think about you. Yes, I'm talking about Instagram. Yes, I'm on Instagram, and yes, I am guilty of getting caught up in the likes and the followers and comparing myself to other people on that platform, and I'm here to tell you to stop. If outside validation is the only thing that makes you feel good about yourself, you're gonna feel bad about yourself for a long time. I promise you that is not the way to go about things, and it doesn't work. I think one of the most important lessons that I've learned and had to remind myself is just that you're not for everyone, and that's okay. Perfect example. Some people like chocolate, other people don't like chocolate. I'm not one of those people, but neither is right or wrong, and it's unrealistic to think that you are going to satisfy everyone else around you's needs or be attractive to everybody you meet or likable to everyone you meet. I mean, not everyone you meet out on the street becomes your best friend, and it's unrealistic, and quite frankly, it's unhealthy to think that you're going to be able to please everybody that you meet or everybody on the internet. You can be different from other people and still be beautiful, and I think that's something that in the generation of social media can get lost in translation sometimes, and the world of comparison, it's easy to think that you don't stack up, but that's not true. And I know we're in an environment where we're constantly being compared and comparing ourselves, but you just kind of have to block out all of that noise and focus on yourself. And if you think that losing weight is gonna fix that, I promise you it's not. Losing weight and being happy, they're not something that happens together. They're not exclusive to one another. If you put all of your other issues to the side and just throw all of your focus and energy into getting into shape and losing weight, those issues don't go away. They're still there. They're gonna be there forever, and that's not a healthy way to cope with things. So if you're trying to lose weight to become happy again, that's not the way to do it. And I think that anyone who's approaching it like that is gonna find fairly quickly that it doesn't work, and they're gonna become discouraged, and it's not, you're just gonna go in a downward spiral. So make sure when you're starting out that you're coming from the right place, and that's a place of, I want to improve myself, I want to be healthy, I want to feel good, and not from the place of, I want to look like her, or I want to weigh this much, because that's an unrealistic and unhealthy mindset to be in when you have to put in so much work to get there. You need to be in the right headspace. An important point that I found is that even when I did get into the shape I wanted to be in and I looked the way I wanted to look, I still, at that weight and in that body, had good body image days and bad body image days. And that's true for everybody, and no matter what shape you're in. And I think it's something to keep in mind, is that part of being human is that we have good and bad days and happy and sad days, and having those emotions are normal. And as soon as you try and convince yourself that you have to be happy and feel awesome all the time, I think you're just gonna set yourself up for disappointment, and it's okay to not feel that way all the time. And it's normal to not feel that way all the time. Sometimes the gym can be kind of an escape for people. It's a place where they go, they work out, they have a great workout, they're running off those endorphins and they feel really great about themselves, and that's awesome. I have that experience. And then some days ice cream makes me feel that way, and neither is right or wrong. But what is wrong is if you fall into this trap of enjoying that ice cream and then for the next week you obsess about every meal that you have to try and counteract that you had that piece of pizza or you ate that bowl of ice cream, and you're creating an unhealthy relationship with food and fitness in general that shouldn't be there. That's a negative mindset that you need to destroy, and a lot of people, instead of destroying the mindset, they end up destroying their body by not eating properly, not eating at all, not eating enough, not getting enough sleep, overworking, working out too hard, working out when they're injured, working out when they're sick, and that's really not the way to go about it. I know that once you're in it and you're seeing results, it can become addictive, but that's a really unhealthy cycle to be in. So another point I would say is make sure that you're mindful if you're falling into that trap and know how to pull yourself out of it. I've always liked the analogy of treating yourself like a friend, and would you talk to a friend the way you talk to yourself? And if you're self-sabotaging and making yourself feel awful, it's never going to go away. I mean, you have an internal monologue with yourself all the time, and if it's negative, it's really hard to find positives outside of that because you're always going to be clouding everything with your negative mindset. It's really hard, but I promise you it works. If you are present and mindful and aware of those negative thoughts and make an active decision to turn them into positive ones, it makes the biggest difference. So every time you feel yourself looking in the mirror and saying, oh, I wish I looked like blank, look in the mirror and instead say, wow, I've come so far, or wow, I can't believe I could run for that far, or you know, when I started I couldn't do any push-ups and now I can do 10. There's always a positive way to look at things, and the more often that you do it, the better you can condition yourself to remain in that healthy mindset. And you need that if you want to be successful and accomplish your goals. You absolutely need that. And you have one relationship that lasts you your whole life, and it's the relationship you have with yourself. And people think that fitness is just a physical thing, but to me, I find that it's probably more so a mental thing than anything else. And fixing the relationship that you have with yourself is the #1 way to make sure that you reach those goals and are successful and happy. So I cannot stress enough that that's so important to do, and the sooner you start out doing it, the easier it gets. I promise. Another point that I wanted to make was once you're into your healthy fitness routine, you're working out, it's, like I said, very easy to fall into a trap of overworking or becoming obsessive with things, because as soon as you start to see results, you just think, oh, well, if I worked twice as hard, then I'll see results twice as fast and I'll get there quicker. And that's not true. Doing your best does not mean pushing yourself too far. There's a difference between reaching and achieving goals like doing push-ups or how many chin-ups you can do, or running for a distance that you didn't think was possible. There's a difference between that and pushing yourself to the point of a mental or physical breakdown. If you reach that point, it's no longer your best. You do not have to be so tired and so sore that you can't move at the end of a workout for it to be considered a good workout. And I think a lot of people think that in order to have the best results and burn the most calories, you have to be absolutely sucking wind at the end of a workout and sweating bullets and fatigued beyond belief and sore every day. And that's not true and not healthy. So do keep that in mind. If you're pushing past the point of no return, that's not your best. That's too far. Going along with that notion, if you don't like the gym, stay away from the gym. I think everybody is exposed to so many people who train a specific way that they think that they have to train that way in order to get to the body they want or the goals they want to reach. And if you're not enjoying what you're doing, I promise you, you're not going to get to that goal. It's just as simple as that. My recommendation for those people starting out is to try everything. Try it more than once, try it with a friend, try it alone, and make your decisions after that which types of exercises work best for you and you enjoy the most. Because if you're not enjoying your workouts, you're not going to be doing the little things to get better. You're not going to be getting up early or staying up late to get it done. You're not going to want to go, and eventually you're going to get frustrated that you're not seeing the results that you want, and it all stems from whether or not you're enjoying what you're doing. So I can't stress enough, try everything, try all different types of workouts. It's not just the gym in order to see results. You can do any type of fitness and have results. So keep an open mind when you're starting out, and make sure that you're not afraid to try things, because some of the best workouts I've ever had are in a class that I never in a million years thought I would take, and it's now become a part of my routine because I love it so much. My next tip is to not fall into the hype that surrounds self-love and what being healthy means, because there's a lot of, not false advertising, but glorified, I guess would be a good word, ways to describe being healthy and loving yourself. Saying I love my body doesn't have to mean I love how my body looks, because I get it, everything online right now is so focused on how everyone looks, but loving your body, it means so much more than that. Loving your body means that you're gonna give it what it needs, whether that be sleep or proper nutrition. It means appreciating how hard it works, the fact that you can get up, that you can run. There are people all over the place that can't do that, and being appreciative of that fact is such an important part of self-love. It means not punishing yourself for how you look, or punishing yourself until you get to the place that you want to look like. It just means appreciating and loving how you feel in your own skin, and being thankful that your body can do so much for you, and not focusing on all the aesthetics, but more so who you are, because at the core of everything is your soul, and that's a hell of a lot more important, at least in my opinion, than what you look like. For me, that all started with a shift in my mindset, and what really helped me do that was being more present and letting myself go into my own brain, really, and have conversations that were difficult with myself. You have to be comfortable with who you are right now, right this second, and not be lusting after a hypothetical version of yourself that may or may not be a possibility. Because if you're always looking ahead and at something different, then you're never going to be able to appreciate who and where you are at this moment. And I think as soon as you start doing that and focusing on the here and now, you'll just become so much happier. Taking care of yourself doesn't always mean, you know, bath bombs and hair masks and all that stuff. It can just be as simple as drinking enough water and going to sleep at a good time and getting enough sleep. And it really doesn't have to be that hard, and I think we overcomplicate things for ourselves sometimes. And as soon as you strip all of the extras away and focus on the simple fact of, this is who I am, this is what I want to do, but this is what I'm going to do to get there, I think it just makes the whole fitness thing a part of your life and not your entire life. And it can so easily become your entire life if you let it, but it should just be a part of your life. There's so much more to you than just how you look, and as soon as you figure that out, I swear it changes everything. It's like light bulbs. One thing that I started to do is document what I like to call my win of the day. So every day I like to look back on it and say one thing that made me happy or that I'm grateful for. And it's just a really easy way to practice more gratitude and realize that there's so much more to life than all of the just kind of superficial things that we pay so much attention to. It's the little things that can make us the happiest and that count the most. So those are just some of my thoughts on fitness and points that I wanted to share with you guys who might be starting out. I like I said, I posted a lot about this on my Instagram and also on my blog, but I thought I would put together a video as well. If you have any comments, please leave them down below and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I hope you did. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.